Oh,
What is good, everybody? We are in the building. 5 Star Fridays. Here we go. We are live. Ryan, yes. Let's hear about this beautiful video that we just watched.
we're back. We're back.
What's this
We're
Kickstarter
back
that we
with a
are
vengeance.
we are
We're back.
running?
Book, book, book number 3. So you guys, I was hired by the great Moana McAdams, my sis, my partner in crime, my creative force of reckoning. We created a book last year called The Adventures of Nicole Nohia, Shadows of the Ancient, where we took her original book, which was homage and a journey of exploration with her father in the first book. And then in the second book, we decided to, she wanted to take a different route with things and begin talking about making this a children's fantasy book. So we decided to go that route, and she created a story, not we. This one is we, but she created a story to begin the process of building worlds and building Hawaiian culture, and Hawaiian folklore and Hawaiian myths into one book with these 4 little kids, that stem from the adventures of Papa Ray with her first book. So we decided to go with that. And if you got the book and if you got everything from us, you would learn that, we introduced you to 2 new kids, and then we introduced you to a god named Kawana. And then we introduced you to a villain called the Nunu. So if you got that book, the book is all kosher and fun in the beginning and cute and cuddly, and then takes a hard left real quick, like a hard left. And we introduce you to a different side and a different world in Hawaii. In this book that's coming out, that is up and running on Kickstarter right now. It's up and running and live.
Getting it.
We are almost at 3,500, which is unbelievable. Oh, I think we're past that. I think we're almost to 4,000, which is unreal. In the first 3 days, this is the 4th day. It's crazy. I mean, I think this is the 5th day, which is crazy. I want to thank everybody in doing that. Everybody. But this book, this is a completely in-depth story. We're treating these books like Harry Potter. So each book, it gets more, less kid-friendly, more teen-friendly, adult-friendly, and we're treating it like Harry Potter. So this book is Journey to Aikua, where our 4 friends learn by the end of the first book, which ended on a cliffhanger, is the age of the Mu, which is the age of the gods. We meet these 3 new gods at the end of the book, and these gods are going to guide our lovely little kids to a world beyond, where you'll meet a new character who grants them special things, but some stuff goes down real hardcore, and I can't tell you that. And it ends on another cliffhanger. So this is Journey
That's
to
the best way to end it, baby.
Yeah, this is Journey to Aikua. It's up and running on Kickstarter right now. I'm the illustrator. Juana is the amazing writer. I have and we're sharing a story together, which is the next step of this whole entire series that we're creating, which is enjoyable. I call like book 2 Terminator. You saw Terminator in the 80s. It was like game changing. This is T2. Like, this is a whole nother level. This is Judgment Day.
We're taking it to a whole nother place, baby.
Yeah, we're going places in this book that no one would expect. It's for all ages, just not kids now. It's for all ages, because we are throwing in some things that are very adult oriented in this 3rd book, where you will catch. And it's a journey. It's literally an adventure. It's a journey. If you like Lord of the Rings, if you like Indiana Jones, if you like Goonies, if you like anything that is conceptually fun, littered in culture because it's a BIPOC Hawaiian culture book. This book is for you and your kids. It's going to be fantastic. I'm really excited to be part of it. And it's all me this time. I get to go absolutely crazy. So you're going to see some stuff that's going to be next level for a kid's book. That's all I got to say.
Man, I
Nice.
am so excited about this, and I'm really excited about it being from, a different perspective and learning about like Hawaiian legends and gods
Mhm.
and characters and creatures, and that's really exciting for me because like we've been seeing a whole lot of the same, werewolves and vampires and Baba Yagas and stuff. I want to find out what's going down in the islands, man. I want to see what's
Mm.
new and original there because when you get into some of these other cultures, you get into some really awesome, weird ideas and monsters and creatures. Oh, I freaking love it, dude. I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
I'm
for
really
sure.
I'm really excited. It's got some cool stuff. I'm creating some really cool things. We're going to see temples, we're going to see caves, we're going to see all kinds of stuff. And at next level, our kids are going to be there's going to be portals. There's going to be craziness. Like this is an adventure book. It is a fantasy book through and through, but all in all, it is rooted in Hawaiian culture, and this is a BIPOC book, kids of color representation. So this is
Hmm.
something that's very important, something that needs to be seen, something that needs. And everybody who's backed it so far, thank you so much. Everybody who can get it out there, share, 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 share.
That's the only thing I got to say. Moana got a bad habit about sharing posts about it that aren't shareable. Like that
Yeah.
drives me nuts because I was like, "Oh, I'm sharing. I can't share it." And like three people have already posted like, "Make shareable, please." So like, I'm just waiting to come back and see it again when it is shareable. But yeah, it is so cool. I'm so excited. Like Andrew said, man, I was in there on day one. I can't come close to getting the first backer, man. These guys get in there and just snipe that sucker so fast. But
Yeah.
I,
But
I,
this
I
book, I mean, it kicks right off where we left off, man. It's gonna be a good time. But our kids have aged. Like I said, it's every book they age. So
Mm.
but it's gonna be a good time. I'm really excited. But we're not here for that anymore. We're here to start a riot and a ruckus. We're here for part two of what, fearless leader?
We are here for the X-Men Part 2. And before we left off with a question, Ryan, you was about to ask a question. And I said, Ryan, make sure you remember this question. And it's
remember.
1 week later. And I'm going to put you on the spot. First off, do you remember that question that you asked?
I'm
But
old.
first, before you,
Tony, I'm
I'm gonna give you
old.
some time.
How you gonna come at me like that
We
and say
ended.
you remember? I can't remember 3 hours ago, Tony.
See,
Like,
I shook my head no. Legend Storm. I have not created any new characters. Last time I checked, the game was still broken. I'm not sure if it's fixed or not. I haven't got a chance to, but that's something that we'll get into if we do another uh, Mania event. We left off. Everybody picks their 5 X-Men that they would have on their core team.
correct.
Prime's like, my question is, and he forgot it, and I knew he'd forget it, but I want to put him on the spot anyways because that's what good friends do.
That is
Anyway,
right.
I'm going to
Is
get into my next
right?
question. This is X-Men Part 2. We have talked about the books that we like in X-Men. We've talked about our favorite characters in X-Men. We've talked about all this fun stuff. Now, there has been quite a few movies made
One or two.
for
Yeah.
X-Men. I'm going to ask y'all, because none of them are perfect, what is your favorite out of all the movies? And let's not count Deadpool. Like, I know, yes, there are X-Men in Deadpool. Let's not count Deadpool. What is your favorite movie rendition of the X-Men?
I can go.
Man.
Yeah, Ryan, you can go.
Well, let's see. Um, for X-Men itself, I like X-Men Days of Future Past.
Okay.
That's my favorite X-Men of the X-Men franchise.
Yeah.
Coming in 2, it would be First Class. Coming in 3, it would be X2. But by far my favorite X-Men movie of all time, out of the whole plethora, is
Yeah.
Logan. It would be
Okay.
Logan.
Okay.
But it would be Days of Future Past as an ensemble, as an X-Men movie. It would be.
I will
Days.
say I want to piggyback off of that. Days of Future Past is a fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot goes on,
Yes.
a lot of powers being used, a lot of I mean like it's a fun movie. It's not like the greatest movie of all time. It hasn't, I feel like X-Men still hasn't hit the mark as far as movie go. But Days of Future Past is a fun movie, and I do enjoy it as that. I would say my favorite is First Class. Again, not the best, not completely accurate as far as things go, but I felt like at that point we could have got a good new fresh start, and they could have turned it into something. I enjoyed both the people that they casted as Magneto and as Professor X. I wish he would have just let the hair go. It's cool, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He's bald. Let it go. But I liked that when they started taking it and making Mystique a good guy and leading the X-Men, and because it was an act, because they were basing it off of the actress and not off of what, you know what I mean? I don't care about a female lead, but there's other X-Men characters that are good female lead that can be
Mm-hmm.
good female lead characters. You don't got to take this just because you gave this actress who was killing it, she was killing it with Hunger Games and all this other stuff. Don't mean you got to rewrite the whole story to where now she's the at the front of the
Primary
pack.
character.
I hated that. I
She
hated that they did that.
was your Wolverine for that scope of movies.
Yeah, and it's for what? You have Storm. You have Storm. You have Storm. You know what I mean? Like,
wait, you have Storm.
Like, why?
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Storm.
I don't think they heard you in the back.
I like look like you had a perfect opportunity for a strong female black lead, and you chose the blue chick who is not even good, who shouldn't. Like, come on, bro. Like, stop.
Now, in her defense, blue people are even more underrepresented in Hollywood than black people are. So I'm just,
Avatar.
Exactly. You got your two token franchises, and that's it. I'm just saying.
Hey, you're right.
But
actually, I'm sorry for all the.
I mean, I agree with
apologize.
you. Like, there are a lot of great female characters in X-Men that could have made a more interesting lead rather than rewriting a character, who spent so long as an awesome villain. You're taking that away from her. And, she's never getting that chance to be that villain. Seeing her go from, like, Charles's pet to being a villain was an awesome character arc, but then you just rip all that power away by turning her back into
dumb.
She's not even really a villain for that long. Like she's such a good villain.
It was just terrible across the board, and that was like Jennifer Lawrence. Her stipulation was making her a lead, and I think for me, like, when you basically retcon her whole entire arc in X-Men 1, 2, and 3, it's just like you retcon that whole entire establishment of her being a villain. And then make her a child kid friend to Charles, and then a love interest down the road with.
It was weird, bro.
It just didn't work for me.
It was too much.
None of it worked. And and try to connect the two franchises. There was so much.
It was
messy writing, and
it was messy.
Horrible continuity to the point.
That's why I'll say Days of Future Past was a fun movie, but it was messy. I thought they had a chance. Like I said, so my thing, I would say First Class. I hated what they did to Darwin. That shit was stupid.
That
Actually,
just pisses
no.
me off.
We don't talk about Darwin because it just
We're not
makes
going to talk about it because that is a uppercut, jab, right hook, knockout blow. That. We're not going to talk about it. And I'll tell you what else. I love who they cast as Magneto. I think he killed it. I think he could kill it as a Magneto. And I like Kevin Bacon when he plays a villain. As an actor,
I loved him as Sebastian Shaw. He was great.
he can play a great villain. I thought First Class was gonna be. I could excuse the Darwin thing, even though it bothered me.
I
But I
can't.
was thinking
It's a good movie. Darwin pisses
I
me
just
off.
don't
it
like
pisses me off.
half these niggas are immortal. Like they're almost immortal. Like Charles, Eric,
Right.
they're damn near immortal, and I'm just like.
And the one dude that can overcome anything,
You kill.
just
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna bring it to a
Fish.
stop because we have not given Fee a chance to talk about her favorite movies yet.
I know we ain't got yours either. That's what
No,
I'm
we
saying.
ain't. But I'm gonna stir some shit up. So let's hear what Fee has to
Okay,
say.
Stir it up.
We love someone that does that on a Friday. Bring the fun. 5-star fun. Okay. I did say Days of Future Past was a fun one. It was. There was a lot going on with that. But again, I could say X2 was one I liked. I remember that, just watching that a lot as a kid.
It was fun too.
I mean, I guess I go with X2, but of course, like, again, the Days of Future Past, that is definitely a great contender. I would just say, like, those are where my two sit at. And again, I don't know why I didn't think about, like, Logan being that big circle ender of that. Again, that was phenomenal. So, yeah, I would say probably X2, just because at that time when I watched it, I was like, it was pretty solid for me, honestly. So I guess I could say that. If Fish wants to stir up stuff, I'm not going to take too much time because I'm ready to. Yep.
Fish, before you go, I want to comment off of Fee's thing. When X-Men 1 and X-Men 2 came out, I was at a point in life where I was too young to understand that they were not great movies. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
I was for sure. Like I was.
See, I was a grown ass adult. Like
I was not.
Adult,
what year did the movies come out?
I honestly.
X2, good. X1.
I couldn't say anything about X1. Like,
I mean, I was excited to see the X-Men in a movie, but yet there really is no X-Men movie that, like, they all have parts in them that I dearly love, all of them, and they all have parts that I just can't stand and make me cringe. That Wolverine Sabretooth fight on top of freaking Liberty. God, I can't stand that. Darwin.
That first Sabretooth was just rough in general, dog.
There are so many things.
When he said, Bub, that's the only shit that I love. After that, I was like, bro.
Freaking Sabretooth's eyebrows alone just pissed me off.
Look, I mean, when I know we've seen. It's not hard to see cosplayers who knock shit out better than the movies, but damn, like anybody can probably throw together a Sabretooth cosplay costume and knock that shit out of the park more than they put time into that Sabretooth in X1. Jesus, it was bad, bro. It was bad. Bad. But I was too young at the time to care, and I was a kid like, yes! This movie rocks, and I watched it again and was like, "What the hell is this? This is horrible."
That's Bryan Singer for you. He'll establish characters and make them all side pieces to nothing. Like his character development throughout that whole entire movie, making Storm the dullest fucking character I've ever seen in my life.
Cyclops was horrible.
Cyclops was straight booty. Jean Grey.
I remember him in interviews, and like people would be asking him at Comic-Con, like, who did your stunts? How many stunts did you get to do? All this stuff. He's like, literally all I did was this in the whole first movie.
Yeah.
Like they gave him a fight scene later on just so he could do something other than.
We have not got a dope Cyclops in any cinemas. Any
So
movie.
No.
what you can really call the X-Men movies, and that's what I'm gonna. They're Wolverine and the X-Men, like the
Yeah,
cartoon.
for sure. Oh yeah, for sure.
The movies
For sure.
are Wolverine and the X-Men. That's
sure,
that's
but
all it is.
Fish, did you
I-
go?
No, I
Okay,
haven't.
go.
Y'all been talking, so I've been letting y'all. You know, now I think I gotta agree. I think the best movie is probably Logan. You know, like it's made later on. It has one consistent thought through it. You know, it's got a couple of issues, but as a whole, I think it's probably the best movie. It is not my favorite. First Class, Days of Future Past are up there in like my enjoy rewatching section. You know, I definitely enjoy that part a lot more. I loved getting to see Nightcrawler on the big screen. I kind of hated every choice they made with him, but you know, I dug
Hey.
seeing Nightcrawler.
That White House scene was pretty dope though.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. But my favorite movie is Wolverine Origins with the shitty Deadpool and everything. Like that is my favorite because see, I knew I was gonna piss somebody off. Like freaking from his transformation into the wannabe Deadpool with the shitty swords pointed the wrong way out of his arms. Like from there on, he sucks as a character.
Yeah.
But like getting to see Logan and his brother growing up and on the run and all this stuff,
Yeah.
getting to see some of my favorite characters that I didn't think I was ever going to get to see, like getting to see the Blob, getting to see that whole team that Wolverine worked with all through the freaking Wolverine series, you know, in the 90s. Like Will.i.am's character is one of my favorite characters from the whole Wolverine mythos, the way he would like just put shape charges on people and
Dude,
blow them up.
not having it.
I loved that character. Ryan can be pissed off. That's okay. I don't care. He could be wrong. I still love him. But man, getting to see that stuff was the best. That overpowers all the crappy that comes at the end of that movie. And so, and the freaking bullet in the head, like explaining why he doesn't remember all this stuff, like that was a much easier, much more believable way to explain that away than like years of mind control and implanted memories. And implanted memories are a great idea until you have to explain how do we actually do that.
Right.
And, you know, like an adamantium bullet to the skull, that explains why he doesn't remember this stuff. And I think that was a brilliant idea, how he walks away a different man at the end of the movie. I love it. It's still my favorite.
I'm gonna comment on that for just a second. I'm not gonna turn my camera off like Ryan. I'm a grown man. I don't gotta be childish. Just kidding.
Oh, wow.
He ain't gonna run.
I ain't gonna run.
You know what? We'll get to me.
I done called you out on the playground. You can run. You can stand up. What are you gonna do, son?
I did like Sabretooth.
Thank you, Javon.
I like Sabretooth in that movie.
That is an awesome Sabretooth.
I did like Sabretooth in that movie.
It's a believable Sabretooth. It's a awesome Sabretooth.
He was a gangster, bro.
Yeah.
He was a gangster. He wasn't a comic book really accurate Sabretooth.
Oh no, he was not. You know,
that Sabretooth.
a blonde dude in a disco skin suit. Like, you know, he wasn't comic accurate with the fur trim, but
Everything
he was a
badass.
Trash,
garbanzo.
There's two things
that scene
I will redeem for
where
Orton.
Ryan Reynolds walks into that room and he's all. That's badass, son.
Okay.
That is 100% grade A quality badass.
Okay.
That one scene with Ryan Reynolds with the swords.
Yep.
And the character Blob. Only two things that are good in X-Men.
Oh.
That's it.
Man.
Gambit was horrible. The way they introduced Gambit was horrible.
Like Javon says, it's abomination.
Yeah.
An abomination.
Pretty rough. Pretty rough.
If he means like Abomination from She-Hulk as like, you know, an awesome, intriguing, fun part, absolutely it was. I agree with you.
That's not what he means. He means like.
I think that's what he meant.
You know, like when you open up a dumpster and it's empty, and in the bottom it's got that juice that sits in there. that's been in there for a minute from like
That's
all
what
the bags.
is.
I think that's what he means when he.
What else is so bad about Wolverine's computer-generated claws?
I think that's what he means. Like that
There's so
juice.
much I don't want to even. They had to make the Wolverine to make up for that hot ass garbage of a movie. They had to make the Wolverine to redeem Wolverine.
Which I think is a crap movie. Like, I can't stand that one, except for the scene with the suit. The Wolverine one in Japan. Like,
I don't even, bro. I watched that one time. And
I dig seeing the suit. That's it.
This will never grace or have the pleasure of being on my TV ever again. That was horrible. Horrible. Horrible, horrible. J-Man, what's happening? Javon, what's happening? Thanks for everybody who's tuning in with us. So there you go. That's our picks for the movies. All in all, we can say we have not seen a great 100% dope X-Men movie. And it's sad. Here's why it's sad. I would say everybody in here and probably in the comments right now, growing up, what was hotter, X-Men or Avengers? I'm going to go with X-Men.
X-Men, hands down.
Exactly. 90s,
X-Men.
early 90s, X-Men was the shit, right? You got all these kids, these new kids that only know the Avengers from the movies, right? And I know this because I teach a class with kids, and I teach them comic books, and I bring up the X-Men, they're like, who are they? And I want to cry at that very moment.
Need to smack some kids. I'm just saying.
What? So like, you mean like Wolverine and them?
Why don't you just hand them a belt and get on it? Like, I would have got a belt and be like, you just
I'm
just walking in the circle. How you gonna ask me who the X-Men are?
Understand that if they were to kill it and do a proper X-Men movie, people would be like, Avengers, huh? Avengers who? What? Why do we care about these Avengers? Thor? What?
Now, I gotta say, to Jafon's point here, I mean, you could do an awesome X-Men movie without ever really touching on Xavier, Magneto, Wolverine. Like, you could have an awesome story. Like, how many awesome movies have we had about high school where you don't ever even see, like, most of the teachers or the principal? Like, you could have awesome stories without having those characters in there.
Yeah, I agree. What I'm hoping they don't do is just, I just don't want them to ruin this shit. I have faith in the MCU, so I know they won't put it out there, put it into the energy, I'm putting it into the atmosphere. They will not ruin it. They won't make it like a high school drama.
Put it to the universe.
Put it into the universe.
There's so much. There's so many awesome characters that you could get into so much cool stuff without ever having to touch on those guys. Like, I had such high hopes for New Mutants. Like, I was so excited for that to come out, and then just kept
a better X-Men movie.
I never watched it.
It's got some cool stuff in
it. They put Demon Bear up in there, fish.
Oh man, and freaking Cannonball and shit, man. Dude, I loved it. I enjoyed it, but it was not what I hoped it was going to be, and it wasn't. And they dragged it out for so freaking long before they released it that, like, I didn't even care anymore. And I was so excited when they mentioned it. By the time it finally came out, I could not have cared less. It was so
the last X-Men movie of the 20th century run. New Mutants.
Next question I got for y'all. We've talked about our favorite X-Men. We've talked about the good guys. Talked about what makes that team.
How's your mom and them?
Dope. How's your mom and them? Yeah, that would be funny as hell if Mark Wahlberg ever started to play Wolverine. Let's not.
He's always got that same look on his face.
Villain. Who is your go-to X-Men villain? When you see this villain as part of the story, you know that shit's gonna slap harder than your mom's home-cooked meals. Who do you think? Who is it?
Damn.
Do I disagree with Mark Wahlberg playing Wolverine? Yes. Yes. I do. I definitely disagree. Here's why. Mark Wahlberg's on this special list that I have. I have a special list. Before you guys answer this question, let me break this special list down. I have a special list of actors who don't act and they play themselves in every movie. Mark
Oh,
Wahlberg's
absolutely.
one of them. Dwayne The Rock Johnson's another one. Kevin Hart's one. There's a few other. Has Mark Wahlberg acted before? Yes.
Tony
Maybe
Danza
twice.
only plays characters named
Maybe
Tony.
three
Has
times.
Has
in his
Dwayne
early
The Rock
career.
Johnson? I love Dwayne The Rock. I love Marky Mark. I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Has he acted before? Yes. Has he had to act in the last 5 years? No. Hey, I get I respect the hustle, bro. If you can play you on the screen and get paid to do
Absolutely,
it,
dude. If you
do
can cash
you.
in and make blockbusters,
Run to the
and
bank.
I
Run to
would
the
do it.
bank. Get it.
Get it.
We ain't mad
I
at you.
respect the hustle. But no. I'm not feeling the Marky Mark as Wolverine. I'm sorry. It's not it. Anyway, we got an Omega Red in the comments. Who's y'all's go-to villain?
I mean, I got my favorites, but like I can't think of really awesome storylines with them. Like the Blob and Juggernaut are two of my favorite characters. They very rarely ever get really awesome runs, where they get to do
That's
really
okay.
awesome stuff.
I get that. I should have said. We'll take that part out of there. Just who's your favorite? What villains intrigue you in the X-Men?
Absolutely, the Blob and Juggernaut. One's unstoppable, the other's immovable. I freaking love that. I love all the ideas and concepts that you can do with them. I love certain scenes, like when I don't remember if I think it was X-Force or something, and Shatterstar like punches the Blob in the mouth, and he's bleeding, and he's like, "You hero types never go for the mouth. Like that's a shit move, dude." and like he's got like all this immovable blubber all over him, and he goes for the teeth and like bloodies his lips, and like that's one of my favorite scenes, hands down, in comics. And and it was just a little bitty bit, but I dig the characters.
Okay. See.
I was gonna go with Apocalypse because usually, even though I was like coming up with, even though I was young and yes, I couldn't tell if those movies was good or not. Anytime I saw that dude on site, I was like, "Ooh, that's not good." It's like something's about to go down. It's about to be big, and we about to really get the good team out to kick some butt. So usually, when I saw him, I was like, "It's gonna be a good like little showdown."
Okay. Ryan.
Sinister.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sinister.
Yeah.
Mr. Sinister.
He's a dope villain. Nobody said Magneto. Is that just a cliche answer?
Well, I mean, Magneto's cool, but like
my favorite X-Men.
Yeah, I mean,
Nimrod was unkillable. That's what made him cool. You couldn't kill him. Yeah, he was immortal.
So let me go into my answer, and it's I've always just loved the idea of the Brotherhood of Mutants. There's just different renditions of the team.
Now we gave you one damn mutant, and you give.
I'm about to go. Can I go? Can I finish?
Can I finish? Can I finish
my sentence, please?
Oh,
I'm gonna give you one. Okay. I like Pyro, bro. I like Pyro. I do. He's a simple, shit talking. He's not great. I like the character.
Pyro is one of the most interesting characters to me because like he could be such a badass, but his power is so weird to have control over fire, but he can't generate fire.
He can't generate it.
So like without a big lighter, he's screwed. Like that is so funny to me.
It's one of those things where like you think about mutant powers and people got all this cool shit, right? And he's
Mhm.
got a cool power, but it's like, damn, they gave me such a crutch with it, right?
Mhm.
Like, I mean,
Oh
such
yeah,
a
like he could
downside to
wreak
it.
havoc at a birthday party, but you know,
Right. That's what I'm
like
saying. Like, hey, can one of y'all start this fire before I can fuck these dudes up over here?
yeah.
I need
Oh
somebody to
man, my
start.
Zippo's out of fluid, dude.
Yeah. If somebody can start the fire, I can run. I can
Come
wreck
on, go
it.
get a match.
Yeah. So
Man, I would be
I don't know.
chain
I just think
smoking
that
all day just so you got that little bit of fire going all the time.
Who's singing happy birthday?
but I love him with the little when he's got the when he's got the backpack and the stuff going
Mhm.
down his arms and I
Yeah.
like Pyro and a second to that oh, why did it just leave me? I had my mind on someone this whole time and I
Ooh.
can't think who it was. It's gone now. Getting older and things are leaving the mind and here I was making fun of Ryan at the beginning of the show for forgetting something for last week.
Ooh.
And
Dang.
I like Quicksilver as a bad guy.
Mhm.
Love Quicksilver as a bad guy. I think was it Wolverine in the X-Men the cartoon where he was part of the Brotherhood?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Dang.
I think
He is
so.
Took me
an
back.
arrogant little shit, and I love that.
Mhm.
It's not. I like the villain speedster, but not like the insane one like Reverse Flash. He's more. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
I like the Brood and their
I,
run.
I mean, the
That's
Brood's basically aliens. I
they're
mean, like, I
aliens.
mean,
Yeah,
they
Yeah.
just
like the
straight up
Shi'ar.
jumped off of
Yeah,
that, and I couldn't ever see it as anything other than that, other than a ripoff. So, like, I didn't even buy those books when they were coming out.
I mean, I love the Shi'ar. I live for that. So
Yeah. No, I mean, there's so many cool X-Men villains, and like I said, I always have loved the idea of the Brotherhood of Mutants, led by Magneto. There's two different teams; they have two different agendas. That's dope to me. Um, but I like those little oddball mutants that just have like
Yeah.
like
like
Pyro,
Toad.
Avalanche.
Toad. Yes, wow, my God,
Toad,
dude, he's another one on my.
Avalanche.
It's so
Oh, I
funny.
love Toad.
Love
It's
the
so funny.
Brotherhood of Mutants.
Especially
I
some of the
do.
later versions of him, like from
Yes.
the cartoons and stuff, like when he was part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Like,
Yeah.
I love that Toad. Like, that Toad, the hunchback little dude in the medieval jester suit for no
Yeah.
reason. Like,
Was
I can't
awful,
stand.
bro. Oh,
I
Yeah.
cannot stand that Toad.
couldn't
But
stand it.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
you're
later
right.
versions, I dig.
They've
I have a
had some
question.
come ups with that character.
Oh,
What?
Ryan's got a question.
I have a
What question you
question.
got, Ron?
I
You
got a
remember
question.
your question?
No, I don't remember my question from a week ago.
Oh, okay. What you got, dude?
Okay.
All right, step
What
to the front of the
is-
class here. Give us your question.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you. Thank you,
Ooh.
America.
he said.
America. Who is your favorite villain with the most ridiculous, unnecessary power? And you.
Hmm.
It's a good question. Thank you for that. I like that.
Goodness.
It's a good one.
Are we talking
Mm.
about just villains or heroes too that got just like
Villains.
crazy?
Villains
Okay.
only. I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first. Mine is Fitzroy. The most obscured mutant, Fitzroy. He's around your fans of Bishop days in cable. Fitzroy was the most unnecessary character of all time. Like, to me, it just didn't make sense. A close second to me would be Silver Samurai. Unnecessary. Can't what? Why? Like, no. Yeah.
I don't know if I have an answer to this question. And I apologize.
I feel like Toad was just because he was funny and quirky in that way. But again, he's still. I'd have to think on that. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean his powers are weird.
Yeah.
The powers are just agility and a tongue. Like,
Yeah.
like, incredible.
And we're talking about like unnecessary. Like I didn't like when they did. I know DC has a version. I don't know who came out with but they did like a mammoth type character in X-Men, right? Was his name Mammoth or was that is that DC? He looks like a mammoth. But I was just like when he was in books, I'm just kind of like, why do we have this character? Like we already have badasses like the Juggernaut. We have we have the Blob. We have Sabretooth. Like we don't need this guy. Like get this guy.
I want Rogue to go back to being a villain.
Oh man,
a villain.
I dig Rogue as a villain.
Mm.
Rogue as a villain is terrifying. Really, like
absolutely terrifying.
Scares the crap out of me.
I like the question that was just in the comments. They said,
yeah, I like that question too. I want to
answer right first. I'm sorry, Fish. Go.
My favorite character that I dig that has a ridiculous power is Magneto, because like his power is honestly kind of ridiculous, and like he does so many things in it that he would not be able to do if his power was magnetism. Like he's basically telekinetic, but only for stuff that is metal. But even then, you see him do stuff to like jet planes all the time that are made of aluminum and aren't ferrokinetic.
Those are metal planes, man.
They're aluminum planes. I'd like to see stick a magnet to an aluminum can. Once you pull that off without hot glue or super glue, you come back to me and we'll talk about his power over aluminum. Like, and I don't even buy that he would have the kind of control over adamantium to pull it out of Wolverine's bones. Like, I mean,
do not talk ill.
It doesn't make sense. He does crap all the time that doesn't make sense. How the hell does a magnetic force field stop a snowball from Iceman?
Talk ill.
Snowballs are not fucking magnetic. Stick one to my fridge.
We do not talk ill of Magneto.
Jubilee just pisses me off. I mean, a lot of people love her. I know she was made to be a new way in for new people.
Jubilee is get up. No,
Jubilee just pisses me off. Razzle dazzle is her freaking power. Like she might as well be throwing a handful of those little poppets at somebody. I
remember early comics. She was always getting caught up and stuff.
But I do like this question. If you guys could pick one DC character to join the X-Men, who would it be?
Does DC have? I mean, I guess they have moved into people just being born with superpowers.
Yeah, DC's mythic.
I mean,
all the other characters, they don't got powers.
For so long, like you had to be from another planet, or you had to have a power ring, or you had to get struck by lightning, or figure out a mathematical equation that lets you tap into the speed force. But like,
you could kind of say, Aquaman.
Sort of
like a Namor type.
Yeah, I mean, I get what J-Man said. They call them metahumans, but I'm like, how many of them now are just born that way without like having to be activated by some event or something? Like, I don't know. I'm not up with the modern mythos of DC enough to know.
I would say Dr. Fate, but his power comes from a helmet,
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say Dr. Fate, but
I would think characters like Green Arrow would probably come really close, because those kind of skills and reflexes seem more like a mutant ability to me than something you could actually train to do.
Can't be the Flash because he wasn't born with it. So like,
I think the question is if the person was born with, like, if you're taking them and you're making that their origin, I would think is what.
See, but like Superman is different than us, but he's a Kryptonian. He's not a mutant. Like he's perfectly normal to be from Krypton, and anybody from Krypton on our world gets the same power. So to me, that's not a mutant. Like he's not
Yeah, that's like
from the
saying
rest of
scrolls are
his
mutants. I
species,
mean, that's like
like
saying
Rogue
scrolls are
is.
mutants, which they're not. They're scrolls are scrolls.
Yeah.
They're normal and they're where they're from. Black Canary. I would say Black Canary.
Mhm.
I don't know. I can't really think.
Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy. Poison
Mm,
Ivy would
Like
be yeah. If she was born, yeah, Poison Ivy would be a good one.
Deadshot would be a
Deadshot
mutant,
would
I
be
would
another
think.
one.
Like, because there's no way you
Didn't they
hone
come
your
back?
shield
Didn't they
enough
end
to
up
pull magic
saying?
shit like that.
Didn't they end up saying that Bullseye was a mutant
I
later
can't
on in the
remember.
comics? I think did they make him
Probably. It makes more
probably?
sense for him to be a
Yeah,
mutant.
I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, DC's just so different. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like they're just yeah, they're all on this like DC's weird because DC they're all here or they're all here.
Like, I
yeah.
would love Static Shock to be in the X-Men. I think he would be awesome.
Static Shock,
Freaking
okay.
Static would be awesome as a X-Men.
Well,
Those
all the niggas from
characters,
Milestone.
okay.
Yeah.
The characters in the Static Shock book and world, they all get their powers around the same time because of like an explosion at a lab, right? And it's like
It's on the
they realize,
docks. Like they're having a gang
Oh,
war
yeah.
in the comics, and it blows up this chemical, and it creates
They all
all the
get
mutants
power.
and
all them
stuff.
characters can easily fit into X-Men.
Oh,
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah,
Easily.
so that was a good one. I'm glad you brought that up, Fish. Yeah, you're
The
actually
whole
right.
Milestone pantheon could be.
Everybody from there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they could all easily fit into the X-Men, and I wouldn't. That would be dope, actually. I wouldn't. There's a lot of cool characters. Static Shock has a lot of cool villains that could easily be mutants.
I have another.
Okay.
I have another.
Okay.
What do y'all think they're going to do with the X-Men in the MCU? I
Can
can
I
go
tell
first.
you? Can I go first
You can go
and tell
first.
you what I don't want them to do?
Of course.
I don't want them to focus on Wolverine. We've had that. It's been done. I don't care if there is a Wolverine, but there's other mutants. There's other dope characters. Can we get a badass Cyclops that can lead a team? Like, I would love that. He's more than just this.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Can
Yeah.
we get a dope Storm? Like, that's my
Can I
thing.
see a Wakanda Forever post-credit scene with Storm in it?
Oh my gosh,
saying.
dude.
Just
If
saying.
that happened, bro, if that
happens, I'll lose all credibility to my life right now.
bro, if that happens, I'm gonna be like a woman in church like this.
I'm be in the movie theater
Praise
just
the
fall out.
Lord, praise the Lord.
Oh my god! Just fall out.
Woo!
Tony gonna be slain in the spirit, flopping around in the
Woo!
aisle.
Give me my fan.
He gonna be dancing in the aisles.
I'm telling you, hey, that would be crazy, dope. That would be crazy.
I'd be
That
happy.
would be dope.
I'd be so stoked.
Yeah.
I'd be
I'm
so
gonna
happy.
stand up, throw
I
down my
think-
cane, take off running around the theater.
I think, like Javon said, they focused hard on certain characters in the X-Men. Let's shift the focus, start with some different characters, and go from there. Now, we know the background's going to be different. It's got to be.
Mhm.
It's at a certain time and place. There's already been things. I know people are going to complain because right now we are at the peak of crybabies when it comes to stuff that's being released. I'm
The
talking about
fandom. The
the
Well-
fandom.
fandom,
Terrible.
terrible. We got some cry babies, okay? So there are gonna be some complaints, but they gotta think they have to do it in a different way, right?
Yeah.
It's like the movie Civil War, Captain America: Civil War.
It's
In the
very
comics,
different.
That
it's
story is phenomenal. It's dope. It has a lot of aspects that they had to leave out. Civil War was still a good movie, though.
Hmm.
Mhm.
They had to do it a different way. We got that. We understood that, and it was still done good, and it fits great into the MCU. If they can do that with X-Men and find a way that makes it great and fits into the MCU, run it. It's gonna be different. Spoiler alert to all the crybabies out there. It's not gonna be the '90s cartoon X-Men. I'm sorry, it's not gonna be that. It's not.
Mhm.
I tell
It's gonna
you,
be different.
I would love to see a much more established X-Men that have been running underground all this time.
Mm.
They've been secretly adopting in mutants, and the whole mutant thing has been kept much more under wraps, and it's not a national, craze and uproar like, you know, a lot of other things were in the past. Like if you found out you were one, your family kept it a secret and hid it, and you went away, and we pretended like it didn't happen. And
Ooh.
like a teen pregnancy in the 50s or something, like, we'll send them away to that special school. And like I would love to see it as almost more of a university, like it's been going for a long time. And maybe Professor X is retired, maybe he's gone, maybe Cyclops is in charge now. Like, I
Mm.
mean, I would love to see something like that, but I don't think we'll get it, but I'd love to see it.
What about you, Fee?
I mean, that honestly would be a great way to pick it up because I've always, I mean, just back to Fish's point, like I've always seen the school, but it's like never really like expanded upon like the danger room and just like all the different parts of that huge school where it's just kind of like all these mutants and all their stories and how they can like grow in their abilities that they were born with. I really want to see them kind of run with that, and again without focusing on like Professor X or those main spotlighted characters. I honestly would love to see them kind of run with that and just see where it takes them.
Ryan,
Yes, yes,
can I say something else?
yes.
Okay. Thanks, man. You're the best. Can I just say on the record now, I'm completely okay with an African American Magneto,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I would love to see a Denzel Washington Magneto. I'm okay with that. Let it happen. I would love it. I would love it.
Oh
It could
man,
hit
you
on
could rewrite
so
him and like
much.
have his parents be killed in like the Watts riots or something, and like, oh man, he could be so cool and have so much
Yes.
reason to distrust the man and humanity. And
Like Magneto did anyway, right? We know that
dude,
we know Magneto's backstory, right? At
Hmm.
this point, if he was a survivor of that, homie'd be like what, 90, 95? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
there's always something he could be a survivor. Like that's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
There's always
Let's
an
let's
event.
tweak it a bit. I would love it. People are gonna disagree with me. That's okay.
I mean,
But
he
at
could
the
be
end
in
of the
the LA
day,
riots.
Oh, people disagree, but that's okay.
that's
We ain't
okay,
gonna cry.
Facebook user. It's okay that you
But
disagree with me.
I mean, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, our shoe in to the X-Men is gonna be Miss Marvel. She's our kitty
Mm.
pride. She will be the shoe in to X-Men. I believe that's where it's gonna kick off. I prefer X-Men to be a show, not a
Yeah,
movie. I'd rather
absolutely.
it
I would
be
love to see
a
that so
linear
much.
show where we
Mm.
follow maybe each episode with a different character. Get there around
Mhm.
like so we are getting more focused on how we're building a team. And then like I prefer Tony's cue. We don't need a Professor X. We don't need a
Mhm.
Magneto right now. We don't even need a Wolverine. It can be Cyclops, the chair of the Xavier Institute.
Man, have
And,
that whole
and
first class be the instructors and the
yeah,
leaders and the trainers, and
yeah,
Yeah.
and then your new mutants would be new mutants that are
Hmm.
obscure that we don't know much about, like how they
Yep.
Yeah.
tried to do. I think it would be great.
Exactly.
Like make the new mutants, Miss Marvel, Jubilee, Iceman, young
Yeah.
kids, and your teachers be Storm,
Yeah,
Cyclops, Beast.
Beast. Yeah.
yeah.
Like
One of the things that they
Angel.
do,
Yeah.
I know people want to see everything connect in the MCU, and the question would be, well, why didn't they intervene when all this stuff was going down and da 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 and what? But here's my thing: the comic books have done it for years. X-Men got their shit going on, Fantastic Four got their shit going on, Avengers got their shit going on, and that's okay, right?
But,
Make the
Everybody is
X-Men in a
saving
way.
the world without the help of everybody else in each
but
issue.
in the MCU right now, they're just throwing in mutants. If you didn't notice right now in
Yeah,
Phase
for
4,
sure. What I'm
they're
trying
just
to what
throwing
I'm
them
getting
in.
at is
Mhm.
have this school somewhere, and their mentality is that shit ain't our problem. This shit is our problem,
Mhm.
and we didn't interfere with that because we're, you know what I mean? We're
We've
focusing
always been
on
keeping a low profile. How many
keeping a low
times have
profile.
the X-Men saved the world and nobody knows? Like, that's
Exactly.
part of their thing. Like, they save the world from life-ending events, and
Without you even
humanity as a
knowing
whole
it.
has no idea, doesn't even know the X-Men exist.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know?
Right.
Without you even knowing it. Just
And-
how they
and-
did it in the
Mhm.
movies.
And the
Yes.
Avengers fighting an alien race and aliens in New York. That ain't our problem. Like
That's how
I
they
guess
do
it
it.
would get to a point where it's like it's everybody's problem, but at the same sense, it's like
But,
it's
like, when you
okay.
got, like, one man that's trying to take over the world or trying to, like, like in the first movie where he's trying to turn all those senators and stuff into mutants, all those world leaders, like, you could stop that and not have most people know that anything even happened,
Yeah.
or the few people that saw light coming out of it, nobody wants to say that because they're gonna look like an idiot on the
I
news.
guarantee you, they're going to treat the X-Men how they treated the Eternals. They've always been here. Like,
Mhm.
and I think that's how it's going to be. Because like they're sprinkling in these mutants already. Like you got one in Black Widow, you got one in She-Hulk, you got a couple in She-Hulk. Namor is coming. Another like they're just.
Let's get
they
a
don't-
Cyclops that has a Magneto attitude,
I would love that.
who maybe has seen how past mutants have been treated, and he's at this point like, nah,
He's done.
I'm gonna do something
Mm.
different.
Mhm.
I've seen what happens when when my people step into the
The
light or
spotlight.
step into the spotlight. I've seen what's
My folks
happened.
get lynched. We ain't doing that. Yeah,
This
that would be
event
awesome.
back at this time happened. You know what I mean? And we're not doing that anymore. We've learned from those mistakes. And now we're at a place to where we don't get involved with that shit. That's their shit. That's the humans. That's their shit. That's not the mutant shit. We got our own problems. I think that would be
Mhm.
cool. I feel like that would be a dope stance to where maybe we already, like you said, had this hardened like Cyclops who was ready and down to follow Professor
Which
Xavier.
explains why they weren't there in Civil War and why they weren't
Right.
there in Endgame, because they're keeping a low profile and doing their own thing.
He was down to follow Professor Xavier and the way Professor Xavier thought and the way Professor Xavier was going, but he's seen where that got Professor Xavier, and he actually learns from that Magneto mentality. Magneto was right. Maybe this event took Magneto and Professor X at the same time, and someone close to Cyclops. And now Cyclops is like, damn, Magneto was right this whole time. So I'm going to keep this close to the chest, what we do here. That's just, I'm not writing a movie or anything, guys, okay? I'm not writing it.
It's a cool theory to put out there. I like
Not
it.
writing it or anything. They haven't called me, but there you go.
Those were our 2 cents on the MCU.
Question, Fish and Tony, what characters in your resumes would you put in X-Men? Green Zone.
Green Zone basically is sort of
They often.
the X-Men.
Yeah.
It's in a different way.
I would love to see like Bellamy in there. Virgil would be cool in there. But actually, like to J-Man's earlier question about Longshot having hollow bones, I actually have a character in my world of Green Zone that you will see down the road, and he has hollow bones as well, which allows him to like glide with this suit that he wears. And because he's so light, but he has to fight like an acrobat and like tag you from a distance or hit you and jump away. Because if anybody catches him like by an ankle and just swings him into a wall, he's gonna die. So like, you know, he has to be really careful about what he does. And like
Mm.
I personally think he would make a really interesting character in the X-Men.
I don't really have anyone off the top that I can think of that I would put in the X-Men. I am writing story for Green Zone. But other than that, I don't have anything. Folks, we've reached that time. We have went over the hour.
We have indeed.
So much X-Men stuff. You could probably do a part 3, but we're gonna leave it here. I think we've talked enough about the X-Men. We had 2 full weeks of X-Men. We've talked about our favorites. Talked about the ones we think are absurd. We've talked about the good villains. We've talked about all the crappy movies. It is what it is. We're gonna lay X-Men to rest. We can all agree on the simple fact that it is a powerhouse stable in the comic book world, and it's so dynamic and so dope, and it's hard not to be a fan of the X-Men. Whether you're just fans of part of it, things of it, whatever. Show was definitely fun, J-Man. You're right. That's all I got for everybody. Fish, instead of running an outro, let's run one of our commercials for one of our other shows. You can catch on the Agents of Geekdom.
That's what I was thinking.
Because we run shows every day
of the week, baby. We got something new and interesting and exciting.
The whole network. Okay.
Exciting and new. Come aboard
for you. Okay.
We're expecting you.
Continue to be 5-star version of yourself every day. Keep grinding. Be consistent. Continue to love one another. And I think we out. That's all we got. Hey, yo, DJ Fish, run that commercial.
Chicka, chicka, chicka.
I think it's time for me to save the day. Grease. Y'all know what it is. A hot shot. Let me heat it up.